seems cold and bleak and you just can't take it anymore. Here it comes, that glimmer of hope, a light shines through the door. It's a hopeless soul, with Aaron and Rohit, whoa. It's a hopeless soul, with Aaron and Rohit, whoa.
What is up, Hopeless Hopers, everyone? We are back with another Hopeless show with a great guest today that's going to bring a lot of hope, and he's really funny. Deric Cahill. He's got millions and millions of followers online. You might know him because he brings this sense of personal angst and comedy to his daily life by actually filming a lot of his segments at home. He has 3 kids and a wife, and he derives a lot of his comedy from his day-to-day life. He goes on a lot of funny rants, too. And in this, he's going to talk about growing up, his not-so-good parents, going to jail, his time in corporate America, his views on the American dream, and what it was like to rise to fame over the last 6-7 years. And I can't wait for you to hear this. And first, I'd love to talk with you about something, because curious what you think. So, I don't know if you've heard, there's a show that just started on Comics Unleashed in a new time slot, the 11:30 time slot. It's the Stephen Colbert time slot. So, if you know this drama, Stephen Colbert got fired, and his last episode was recently. Now, I'm guessing you are too. I'm a huge fan of Colbert. He had the Colbert Report, he had his late night show, and he was on the Daily Show. I've grown up with him. We all have. And he's one of the funniest comics around. And it sucks, I think, that he got canned. He didn't deserve it. Late night brings so much to online content now. It's a cool format that's evolving, and it sucks that he got booted for some unnecessary reasons. I know you probably have an opinion on it. Everyone has an opinion on this, it feels. Now, the show that replaced it, I don't know if you've watched it, but it's called Comics Unleashed. And Comics Unleashed is a show that gives 4 comedians every episode a chance to do their bits with Byron Allen. Byron Allen's this media mogul guy and a former comic now. And it's getting so much flack. And, we talk on this show a lot about how 2 things can be true at once. I know you guys have written me about it a lot, that it's cool because you can have one thing that sucks and another thing that is also good. I posted this thing, I don't know if you saw it, about Byron Allen, and it was me because I was at the premiere party. We've had a bunch of guests from that show on our show, and I got so much flack because they're like, how dare you? Stephen Colbert is so great, and we're going to boycott that show because of it was so unfair how Colbert got fired. Well, I don't know. When we talk about this stuff, we say it could be a great opportunity at the same time as something sucking like what happened to Colbert. And to me, this is a great opportunity. I hope so. I mean, imagine 4 new comics every day getting a shot, and we get to watch them. Isn't that cool? I mean, I think it is. So it sucks that people have to judge one way or another instead of saying, that sucks and that's cool. So I hope you check out Comics Unleashed because I've seen it. It's fun. The comics are so excited to be there. When I've been on the set, man, they're like just psyched because that's sometimes their first time on national TV and they get to have their chance, maybe their big break. And we all want a good break. So I don't know. I just have been thinking about that and wanted to share it with you because I think it's important that we don't jump to conclusions too quickly. So with that, now it's time to have Deric on. He is so fun, and I can't wait to have him talk with you. And I learned a lot from him and laughed a lot too. What is up, Deric? It's good to have you here. How you doing?
What's up, Jude? I'm doing good. This is totally the first time we've said hello as well. This is the first one.
Yeah, this is the first. Yeah, we didn't have 3 false starts. So before we get into you and learning about you, I just want to come in with a bang. you talk a lot about this whole idea of adulthood and how it's about everything society told you to do versus what you're doing. And it's somehow ended with people feeling exhausted, overstimulated, underinspired. And it's like they're trying to hide for 5 minutes anywhere in peace. So when do you think adulthood became totally insane?
Oh man, I mean, my adulthood or adulthood in general?
Well, I'm talking to you, so I guess you.
Mine from the beginning.
Yeah, from the inception of adult.
Yeah, no, I think like regular adulthood, probably when you start trying to find your first house and you're like 3 months into that house is when you're like, oh, this fucking sucks. I think everything starts eroding around then.
And what about people who can't even find a house? So let's say, or before that, before even house was in the equation, or how do you think that the this whole idea of the American dream maybe was this dream that doesn't totally exist?
Yeah, well, I mean, shit. I mean, if we're gonna get deep with it, I think the American dream is just a construct built by corporate America to get you to work your fucking balls off to go get the things that you think that you want. And the only way to get there is by fucking grinding, brother, and getting yourself the American dream. But, I think the catch-22 of it is the American dream, I don't think exists really, because the dream is something you wake up from and it's like, oh, fuck, that was almost there. I think a lot of people work their fucking balls off for their entire lives trying to get to whatever, if I could just make $100,000, if I could just make $200,000, if I could just buy a house, they always think happiness is there. I think that is the American dream that we've been sold to keep you working till you're 80 years old. And then you're too old to really give a fuck about anything.
I think of that all the time. I think retirement is a facade. It was built around something 100 years ago when you're going to everyone's going to the field. They're working on their hands and knees. And
the field.
Yeah. I pictured like everyone just on a field together in 1918. But so for you personally, because, I asked this question because you've gone through it personally. What's fascinating to me is you started in corporate America. You weren't like comedy immediately, even though you wanted to do it. It was I actually was comedy first. I started doing comedy like 16 years ago, but I wasn't in Los Angeles or New York. I didn't know what I don't know if I knew that there was a career in it, or but the word career I wasn't really thinking about either. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I started doing comedy and I did it for like 4 or 5 years. Then I had a kid and met my wife and started to try to get my shit together and stumbled myself into corporate America, and quit comedy and quit creating and kind of nose to the grindstone for like 4 years with them. And that was bullshit too. But that's, I mean, what I just said about the American dream is the same thing that I think I experienced is work yourself to death while we need you. And when we don't need you anymore, you're expendable. But everyone makes you think they're family, like, oh, you're our fucking family. Yeah. Until you fucking suck and then you're gone, and then, maybe then you're a drug addicted family member. It's like, yeah, we don't invite him to Thanksgiving anymore. So corporate America makes you not invited to Thanksgiving.
Eventually. Yeah. But the thing is, while you're there, everyone sucks the tit of corporate America, because they want to grow. They want to climb the ladder. It's all these absolutely empty relationships that you think are real. Dude, I had like some of the best friends in corporate America. I haven't talked to a single fucking person that I worked with in 6 years, know? So, yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't want to be too doom and gloomy, but I just think it's all bullshit.
Well, it's not going to be, once we get to it, it's not doom and gloom because you came out of it and are doing what you wanted to do.
Well, that's why it's doom and gloomy, because so rarely can you escape the machine. I mean, you can, but it's scary. So a lot of people don't.
Yeah. And what got you to do it? Because not only were you doing it, you were doing it well. You actually ascended to whatever label they gave you that was a high title.
In corporate America?
Yeah, in corporate America.
Yeah, I think, there's this really good book that I was reading called The Second Mountain. And I think that kind of tied everything together for me in retrospect, which is this thought that like the first mountain in your life is this like accumulation of wealth and the things, a car, a house. And then the second mountain is the mountain that you get to in life where you realize the first mountain actually doesn't matter at all. So corporate America for me, it's crazy. This kind of goes back to the whole American dream thing as well. Like, so think about how many people, maybe yourself included. It's like, dude, if I just had like $100,000 in the bank, I'd have everything I needed. It's easy. It's easy to let that fuel you if the majority of people never get it, because then it becomes this pursuit that you get to chase. I got it, and I had it, and I was looking around. I was like, oh, I still fucking hate everything. Like, I don't, it wasn't like some light switch flipped inside me. I was like, oh, this is happiness. So, I was just anxious all the time. It was high stakes corporate sales. I was a VP of sales, and every month was just like the erosion of me that if I didn't hit a quota if I hit a quota one month, I was the hero. The very next month I could not, I was a piece of shit again. And it was this like, it was just not worth it. And, I just hated who I was working with. The people that I used to wish I was, like when I first joined the company and I was looking at these big VPs, I was like, oh, dude, I can't wait to be them. By the time I got to work with them, I was like, you're all a bunch of cunts. So, I was surrounded by just idiots, and I was making a ton of money, and I still felt sad and anxious. I was like, all right, well, fuck this. Yeah. And I quit. I just quit, and I did consulting for a little bit. I got really lucky, if you kind of connect the dots over the last, handful of years. There's a lot of luck and good timing, but I've just always been really good at walking away from things that make me feel like shit. And that was one of them.
I'm with you. I think that $100,000 thing is a facade. It's, what does money get you? If you're not happy, it doesn't actually get you the next thing that you hope for. If you're happy and full of hope, it can be very little money that actually gives you that happiness. So it's this weird construct.
It's a pacifier.
That's a good word. Yeah. It's because we're all babies.
Because you know what? I'm happy now. And you know what's made me happy now is I've been in therapy for over a year, and I quit drinking over a year ago. And like, I'm working on Deric, the last couple of years. And I think the only way you can get to that is when you look at yourself in the face, not, oh, dude, happiness is fucking $150,000 a year job. That's not happiness. That's just a pacifier, because you'll probably never fucking get it.
Yep. And when you get it, then what?
No,
if
exactly.
You haven't built a happy life with your own happiness, as you said.
That's probably when you get a Netflix documentary for killing your family.
Oh yeah. You've been talking a lot about that. What got you into a little bit about, if you can describe about your obsession with this?
Documentaries?
Yeah, the documentaries, and one in particular.
What? I don't have one. Which one in particular are you talking about?
Well, it's just the idea of documentary, of so many feeding you different information. And so all of a sudden you have like a documentary that's giving you this part of the story or this part of the story.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just love documentaries. I love learning about things. And then, what started the, posting them like a talk shit review on social media was, the internet is very much like, I look at it like tides a little bit, and you look at like the series that I've done, like Fuck This House is a big one. And, talking shit about being a parent is another one. You get these like seasons where the tide is really coming in, and then, whether I get tired of it or whatever, documentaries for me was like, I started getting a little pigeonhole. I started feeling like stuck, like in this Fuck This House stuff that I was doing. I was like, I'm not a construction guy. Like, I just like talking shit about stuff. So in one of those moments, I was like, I'm just going to post a review talking shit about a documentary just to flex, like free will. Like, no one owns Deric Cahill. And that fucking popped off. And I was like, oh, I love this. I'll keep doing this too.
And I guess on the flip side, is there a doc that you'd recommend right now?
The one that's trending right now is probably The Crash with, what's her name? Mackenzie Shirilla. That was one that the Netflix documentary left a bunch of stuff out of. But as much as I love documentaries, once I get the gist of I'm not going to go watch 9 other fucking documentaries to get the full picture. Like, I'm not autistic with my love for documentaries. I just, because I tried to watch one on Hulu or whatever. I tried to watch a different one. I was like, I fucking already know all these people. I know what happened. I can't like start at the beginning now to find like the one nugget. So that's something that I don't go that far. I'm not going to watch like 10 documentaries about one subject.
Like remember the Firefest ones? And there were like there were two competing Firefest ones. And they had I watched both. They had a little bit of a few different nuggets, but it was basically the same shitty festival.
Yeah, I think the only one that stands out of a documentary that I watched, two of them was I don't even know if I can remember the name of them, but the premise was the opioid epidemic.
Right.
Two kind of like docu-series came out. So it was acting, but it was like a documentary style recount of the opioid epidemic. I watched both of those, and those were pretty cool.
They're current. Well, I want to go back in time with you.
Let's do it, bro.
To your beginnings, because you've thought differently and you kind of and your life. You're like, all right, yes, I hate this. And I'm going to
that's funny.
Do this. So going back to your school times, because at 16 you started comedy. Before that, what were you like in school? How did you relate to school? What was that period of your life like?
So not that it's important. I started comedy at like 20. I wasn't like a phenom at like 15 doing comedy.
Were you interested? I think you said you...
Yeah, I think I got interested in comedy maybe like, I think 12 maybe. I saw Robin Williams' Weapons of Mass Destruction special, and I was like, oh, this is fucking hilarious. But as a kid, I was really shy until I was like... So it's actually kind of funny. I grew up in Boston, and I was really fucking like shy and very like all to myself, very self-conscious. I didn't grow up with great parents, and we moved to Florida when I was like 16. And at 16 moving to Florida, I remember like being like, I don't want to be the same person I've been now that I'm moving to Florida. And like literally did like a 180 in terms of like who Deric Cahill was. Which still was, it wasn't a huge upgrade, but, I wasn't as like coy moving down there. And that's, I think, when I started kind of coming out of my shell a little bit, class clown a bit, but I never really took school very seriously. I think I graduated with, a 2.01 GPA.
Just enough.
Literally and I did 6 extra months of high school.
So would you say school wasn't your forte?
Yeah, no, it's when I was a kid, like before like 8th grade, I was like really into school, like straight A student. When I hit high school, it all just eroded, and I just lost all interest in school.
And then after school, well, it's that changing of identity thing. It's an interesting conscious decision. It shows, I guess, the willpower that you found that you had. Would you say that's true?
I think there's a lot of stuff in my life that I maybe had but didn't know I had it, So that might be an example of like that grit, maybe, of like the ability to change your own circumstances.
Yeah, because you also, I know you've talked about getting a DUI, right? And that changed some things for you. So
changed everything.
So yeah, what was that? Because that's a blow, I guess. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, well, I think when you encounter shit, maybe just if you encounter shit, I think you have a couple options to look at. You can either be a victim, or you can figure out like why it's happening to you. That's probably the craziest I get, is when I think about like the reason shit happens to you. I always, the view I have is like, it's happening, what am I supposed to learn from this moment? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I got arrested. I was in jail, and there was a moment of like, that fucking bitch of a cop. Like, I'm not even that drunk. Like, it was very much like external blame. Like, I wasn't even that drunk kind of stuff. But I had this really crazy moment where I was in a jail cell all by myself, because I was a pussy and they knew it. I had my hands on the jail cell bars, and I had this just crazy moment come over me where I realized I was becoming my dad, which is the opposite of the way I wanted to live my life. So I came out of that with just this kind of renewed sense of accountability of like, if I don't change something about me, I'm literally just destined to continue my family's longstanding tradition of being pieces of shit.
And when did you realize that? Because it's, you're not born and it's like, oh yeah, my family sucks.
I mean, it's a little visceral, they both, my dad was a really bad alcoholic growing up, and my mom struggled with, kind of really bad, like, mental health stuff. But I would say, like, up until like 11 or 12 years old, it was almost run of the mill Boston, New England family. Like, yeah, my dad was an alcoholic, drugs here and there. But like, for the most part, it was just an angry Northeastern household.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of just Boston.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like angry Catholics was the house I grew up in. It wasn't until I was like 12, my mom, and it coincides with me going into high school and losing interest in school and shit, which is interesting. But my mom got into an accident and was in bed for like a year, and that eroded the house because they prescribed. That was right when the opioid epidemic like hit America. Like, OxyContin was getting prescribed for fucking ingrown toenail kind of thing. So they were already really predisposed to substance abuse, and now they had access to heroin from their doctor. And that, like, literally that moment was game over for everything. They never got better.
Huh. And that was a realization, I guess. Oh, they're not there for you. You've got to fend for yourself kind of thing.
Yeah. Again, like, I don't know about in the moment, right? Like, I was 13, 14, 15 years old, whatever. Or no, maybe I was like, 12, maybe. When you're 12, you can't articulate that kind of shit that's going on in your head. It's in retrospect that, yeah, like, I was alone, like, no one was making me go to school. My freshman year of high school, I missed half the year just because I would get up and be like, I'm not going to school today, kind of stuff.
It's kind of smart. As a fellow not school guy, I'm like, why not? I don't need to go.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fuck it. Hey, look at me now.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, for sure. Like, there was definitely, I think, but it also, dude, honestly, it also planted a lot of shitty roots in my soul of shit that I wasn't aware of until later in life, of this kind of stuff that, hurts and creates kind of a fucking shitty dark shadow over your life.
Yeah. And then you overcame it, even though it's there, and then decided something pretty interesting. Your family sucks. So what are you going to do? Have a family young.
Yeah. That was definitely intentional.
So how do you do that? How do you deal with that? Because it's obviously contradicts some of what you grew up with. Like, no, I don't know if you want that right away.
No, dude, I think it actually is super in line with what I grew up with. Because, I was 19 years old when I got someone pregnant, and, I had my oldest son in the midst of, like, probably the darkest times in my life. Like, I had no business having a kid, and I got my DUI when he was 3. So the realizations of, Deric, you're turning into your father, were very blatantly in my face of, like, I was, I had no career goals necessarily. Like, I wanted to make a lot of money, but I wasn't doing anything to actually get to a point to make a lot of money. I was drinking and driving all the time, being a fucking idiot with my buddies, in a really shitty relationship. I was my dad, like, I was absolutely mimicking my parents' life. Yeah. So there was no conscious decision to have a kid, dude. That was just I was just all I was being is the product of my environment,
Yeah.
But there's a quote, I actually haven't said this quote in a really long time, but it was one that I used to really live by, which is, I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. And that's what I think the DUI did for me, is it took all these, like, fractured moments of my life that I could, fuck it. Oh, bah. And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I'm my fucking dad. And it was that moment where literally, like, I changed everything. Like, I ended the relationship with that girl that I was in, my son's mom. I went to live with one of my buddies and his wife and their kids, who I really looked up to. Like, they were like the epitome of a good relationship to me. But it took a lot of, like, humbleness, to be like, dude, I'm fucking sucking at life. I need to come live with you guys. and I lived with them for like 6 months, got my shit together, got a decent job in sales, got my own apartment. And then like 6 months later, met my wife, Brooklyn, who I'm with, who literally next month is our 10-year wedding anniversary. But it was
congrats.
it was the DUI, that whole moment of my life that put all the pieces, at least was the step one of like, oh, get your shit together.
Yeah, the past propels you forward. And if you take and look at the past in a way where it's helpful, like you did, you say, all right, this DUI is going to propel me to somewhere better. And you don't know where that's going to be. You don't know where the road is heading, but at least you're looking at it as a help, not a hindrance.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, I was very depressed. It wasn't like I walked out of jail proud of myself or like, oh, I can't wait to be successful. I just knew walking out of that jail that like, if anything was going to change, it was up to me. And again, dude, like I got lucky, like that a family let me go live with them, an adult man, go live in one of their spare bedrooms, like I was 23 years old at the time. But yeah, dude, I mean, the converse to my decision is, a lot of people probably leave jail being like, oh, that bitch. And it's always someone else's fault. It's always someone else's something. And, how do you get better when you don't take accountability for the shit that happens in your own life? You see it all the time, dude. You look at these documentaries that I watch and the documentaries are pretty much about two adult people that just can't fucking take accountability for their own actions. And it becomes this like desperate codependency and, fucking murder in some of them.
Yeah. Great. That's where you want to end up, is murder.
Yeah, exactly. And Netflix, like I said, you get a Netflix documentary for murdering your family.
Yeah, you do. That's your like reward. The reward is, I got a Netflix documentary. Well, what's cool and I think inspirational about your story is you did take that and ended up where you do want to be, and which is comedy. Right before we get to that, you had this thing where you were dealing with a family, a wife, and corporate America. So if you were to like give advice, what do you feel is harder, dealing with corporate America or dealing with a family? Raising a family or being raised in corporate America?
I mean, I think, I don't look at raising a family as hard, like externally, because like really at the root of it, really the only thing you need to provide is love, and then everything else kind of falls into place. It's just, I guess I don't necessarily know exactly how to answer the question. I just think like what made me feel free as a person was when I opted out of the game of corporate America. Because, when I left my gig as a VP of sales for the next couple of years, I was kind of off and on with working for myself for a few things. Like I had a chocolate company and stuff. So I didn't clean break from working for other people until like 2022. One of my last jobs was in corporate America. I was just an individual salesperson for this company that like sold attorney time, like 1099 attorneys for companies that didn't want to hire a full-time employee.
That seems so much you.
Dude, I was really good at sales, like, because I'm just like, I'm me. Like if I'm talking to someone like, this is Deric, like right now, if we were just at a coffee shop or you bumped, like there is no different versions of me anymore. And when I was working at that last place that I worked at, you get the whole rigmarole and like, oh, let's do your mid-year review. Where do you want to go in this company? And I just almost like, I'm not here to like grow with the company. I'm just here because I need to earn money to keep my family, fed and housed while I start my own company. And they were flabbergasted, but I crushed it, dude. I was the number one salesperson for like 6 months in a row. And I was working like 4 hours a week, dude. It was the fucking cakest job I've ever. I almost want it again now. It's like,
but extra money.
Yeah, dude. But like, I stopped playing the game because the game is, I think, where a lot of the joy gets sucked out of the environment, because the game becomes like, oh, me? Yeah, I'd love to fucking be in leadership with this guy. It's like, go fuck yourself, dude. Like, no, I don't want to go have happy hour drinks with 40 people for my job 3 times a month.
And then that's your bonding. Yay. We're team building.
Yeah, dude. It's just, and I get it, dude. I'm not trying to like shit on like culture, but is it culture when, like, oh, we're family. Oh, but you missed your numbers 3 weeks in a row. You're kind of like fucking gonna get fired, bro.
Yeah. Yay. Like I call it like LinkedIn personalities. I think LinkedIn is a big time fraud, and it's created, who knows what's even true. And then people develop this labeled personality. It's like, I've accomplished these 9 things. They're all on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Judge me that way.
That's social media in general, dude. Like, look at Instagram, look at Facebook, all this stuff is people, you'll always get those segments of people that want to project a life that they want other people to buy into, which is just bullshit, which is, I think, why I have found so much success on the internet. Because it's like, I'm not preaching anything like you should be like me. I'm probably more being like, this fucking sucks.
and it's worked. That's what made you decide to go in this direction? Because you're not doing the look at me, I'm this polished comedian who's on the stage doing a bit. You do bits from your house, and it's you. So how do you think that's connecting in this post-COVID world that's working differently and obviously has built for you?
I have no idea. Honest, dude, the nothing that I've done in the last 6 years has been intentional. I'm not shitting you. Like, the videos that I was making early, like COVID era, were just dumb shit that I felt like posting. Like, it wasn't anything like, oh, I hope I've never, it makes me literally vomit when I see people be like, click those buttons, subscribe and follow. It's like, I do or not. I don't really give a fuck, dude. Like, I'm here for a good time. But it also comes a lot with that identity of like, I don't want to live for other people anymore. I don't want to put off any image, dude. Like, if you like me, cool. If you don't, also cool. Like, I don't really give a fuck. So not being polished isn't a decision. It just is like, I don't want to be anyone other than me for anyone other than me. And I think that maybe in itself is attractive to people because, think about like if you're taking a walk with somebody or taking a walk and like cross paths with someone and they're like, hey, how are you? You're like, oh, hey, how are you? And you go about your day. But if that same person knocks on your fucking door and they have a little badge on, instantly you're like, go fuck yourself. I don't want to have anything that you have to sell me. And I think social media is turning into that. Like, you scroll, you could just instantly tell when someone's trying to like sell you something. And I'm not trying to sell anything, dude. I'm just trying to be funny for the shit that I think is funny. And if you like it, rad. That's so cool.
Yeah, you just said a thing that I talk about a lot. We also talk about with our foundation about labels and about labeling people based on how they learn, how they think. We're a label society. And that idea of someone showing up at your door with that label, it changes how we think about that person. And what you're saying, which I love, is we've got to stop labeling people and just be you. And we should be thinking about ourselves as us and not all these brands and labels that people put on us.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people that need to hear this the most are probably like our youth, like the teenagers that, everyone wants validation, but now we live in such a world where it's such instant validation or otherwise, like, and there's so many different people trying to give you feedback. There's another quote that I love is don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't go to for advice. And I think that the internet is full of people that want to give criticism, and some people's brains want to be good for everyone.
That's really true. That who are we? When you were saying when you satisfy yourself because you're just being genuine, then everything else is just gravy.
Yeah, and dude, I'm not trying to like put myself like I'm some healed king and people's opinions don't bother me. Like, of course, I want people to have a good time. Like, I want people to enjoy the stuff that I put out. But I think the thing that I've cut off a lot is like the toxic need to have people like me or want to see the stuff that I do. Like, dude, someone posted today, someone made a comment today. Some fucking dude was like, I had posted a documentary review and they were like, go back to the house stuff. It's funnier. And, there was a time a few years ago where that probably would have like sat with me for a minute. Like, oh no, oh shit. But I just commented back. I said, "You'll get what daddy gives you." And it's like, and I think that's what we need more of is like, how about you fucking suck my balls, Greg?
Yeah. Like, who cares? Don't, you know what? Unfollow.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's cool when you have, I don't know, man. I've been really fortunate that I found this success when I found it, because I haven't ever felt the need to chase the dragon. You'll see a lot of people on social media that will post something that goes viral, and for the next 6 months, all they do is the thing that they went viral for, because they want the views and the likes and the attention and the adoration. I've done enough stuff in my life that I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of times I've posted a video and I've just been like, nah, I'm not ever going to do that again. No matter how many views it gets, it's like, yeah, I didn't really like that, so I'm not going to keep going.
And that's evolving as a creative too. That's just saying, why not try new things? Like repeating, it's like a musician who evolves, and they're always trying new things in a different album or a different track. That, no matter what, you're evolving as an artist. And as a comic, well, I'm curious about your success part. We've talked a lot about the different pratfalls. COVID and post-COVID, you decided, I'm going to do this. Let's see what happens. What was it like to all of a sudden, start blowing up, have clips that blew up, have shares, have followers, all that?
What was it like?
Was it a shock to the system a little bit? Like, oh man, okay, this is actually happening.
So yeah, the thing that I just said about being able to walk away from certain kinds of content is funny, because the first video that ever blew up was like, I think when was it? It was like April-ish of like 2021, maybe. I returned a car to Enterprise and no one was there to work. And the phone was ringing. So I answered the phone and I ended up helping the person. And it was just spur of the moment. Like I was trying to return a car. The phone was ringing. I was like, oh, this would be funny. So I recorded it. I answered it. It got like, dude, across all of the internet, it got like well over like 50 million views. It was crazy. My TikTok went from like 1,000 followers to 100,000 followers. And then for the next 2 weeks was like this kind of constant bombardment of every post I did was about, oh, that's so great. Oh, you're the Enterprise guy. And yeah, it was cool. I was like, oh, fuck, dude, like I'm here. But I didn't want to be a guy that just answered phones at businesses. So I stopped. I didn't do any more videos of that. I didn't chase that one down. But then, 1 month later, I was right back to where I was before, where I'd post a video, would get 2,000 views. I had the number. I had 150,000 followers, which is cool, but it's like a trophy, Yeah. It's like a little medal you get at the end of a race. It doesn't really mean anything. I didn't make any money. Right. I didn't make any money on social media for fucking years. Like I was out there just for the love of the game, bro, just posting videos that I loved posting. But that was the moment that I think helped me become who I became as a person and as like a creative, was being able to look at this attention and be like, you know what? That's not the attention that I want. I'm going to keep doing the stuff I want to do. And if people come from it, cool. If they don't, that's also cool. I'm still in the same spot that I'm in.
Right. But you're evolving. You're getting to try new things.
Yeah. And over the next few years, it was the same thing. I talked about earlier, it's like tides, for the next probably 2 or 3 years, like there was no like constant Deric attention. It was just, I'd post 10 videos and one of them would get a few 100,000 views and I'd get another 8,000 followers. And then another few weeks would go, I'd post 20 videos. One would pop off. I'd get another 4,000 followers. And for a couple of years, that's what kind of built me up on TikTok anyways. And from a comedian perspective, it's like I was finding my voice over those few years, leaving corporate America, posting videos on the internet. I was finding out like, who is Deric? So if you look at all my early content from like 2020 to like 2023, you're literally just watching me find myself, which is so romantic to say out loud.
It's beautiful. We should do a Netflix doc on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. With no murder.
no murder. No, it's just a love.
Except
fest.
Me on the stage, bro.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So you went from TikTok to stage, and
back to stage.
Big transition.
Yeah, it was again not intentional. I had a comedy club in late 2023 hit me up and asked me if I wanted to come do a show for them, like out of the blue. I had actually just decided I wasn't going to try to do comedy again. Not in the sense of headlining. I was like trying to do open mics in Dallas and I couldn't get on stage. I was like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm just going to ride this content wave and see where it takes me. And like 3 weeks after I said that to my wife, this club in Phoenix called Mic Drop messaged me. Her name is Hillary. And she was like, do you want to come do a show? And I was like, yeah. So I had never headlined before. I was, maybe a feature comedian back when I was doing comedy. So that's why I'd never thought about doing comedy using my audience anyways, because I was like, I'm not a headliner. What am I going to do on comedy? But that message inspired me to write more. And I wrote a headline hour and I went out, was sold out 2 shows in Phoenix, went and did a San Diego show the next day. And I was like, okay, I fuck with this. and that was February 2024. And I've literally not stopped touring ever since.
And I know, and you're going on another tour now.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to even call it a tour. I've never stopped. I am at the end of this year, I'm going to record a special and put out a special of kind of the last 12-ish months of stuff that I've been doing. But yeah, I'm just perpetually on the road right now.
And how do you balance then when you're on the road and the fact that your home content is what people follow you for in part?
Yeah. No, that's another thing to kind of that comes into my heart is like all these things are running its course, like everything that we're doing at all times is at various stages of life, and I just have accepted that, fuck this house for better, I do fuck this house content when something happens at my house. So there's been weeks where I don't do fuck this house content.
It's not there. You love the house.
I have people ask me at shows, not all the time, but occasionally like, dude, is any of that like planned or staged? And I don't know if this is like the artist in me or otherwise, but I'm like, that's fucking disgusting to even ask that I would stage stuff for it makes me, I don't know why I have such an aversion to like content creation. Maybe it's because I'm just like a stand-up at heart. So like I like doing things that are authentic is really important to me. But I look at content as just whatever comes to my heart, I do. And I've gotten a lot better the last maybe year or so of like, dude, sometimes I go a week and don't post a video. For probably 3 years in a row, I never missed a day.
Damn.
And now I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I wear it like a jacket a little bit. It's like sometimes I take the jacket off and sometimes I put the jacket on. But I'm just, it's just this constant evolution. So I try not to think about like the video side of stuff. If it comes to me, it comes to me.
Like there's a great authentic one where you're going to go scare your wife and you just rip into the bed, and almost break your leg.
Oh, it fucking hurts so bad, dude. And it didn't even bruise. It didn't even give like a good bruise. It just hurt like a motherfucker and then looked like I didn't even hit anything with it.
So the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, but see, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Like that video, dude, that video got like fucking 30 million views on Instagram. And it's just one of those things that's like, oh, that's cool. Like, cause it's not like that doesn't showcase me as a person. It doesn't showcase that I'm a comedian. That's just one of those like fun, random abilities to capture a piece of content. It's like my little archive, dude. It's like a little personal Deric library that exists on the internet.
Which is a fun thing, and it shows authenticity. And I think that's the thing that really stands out about you is authenticity. You're you. And I think it might be a change in a lot of comedy right now is people, instead of doing bits, authenticity appeals to people because we're fed so much that isn't authentic in our daily lives. And I think you're really hitting on something over the last 4 or 5 years that is maybe more people could go with.
Yeah, well, we're just all in the fucking trenches, dude. And you can only be told it's a dream for so long before you're like, wait a second. And it is, dude. Like, and that's, I think that's the key piece of this too, is like, it's one thing, listen, objectively, everything about adulthood has things that suck about it, right? Like there's days that it's really hard to be a dad. Like your kid is like fucking, fuck you. Jobs suck. The house is broken. Something happens to the car. And it's one thing to call that stuff out. The other thing is like, anyone that follows me also just knows that I love my family with like my whole entire heart. And I am relatively optimistic about all the shit that does go sideways. And I think that's the clicking part. Because it's one thing to get on and be like, oh, fuck this fucking house again, you piece of shit. It's funny for a clip, but to do what I've done with it, I think has that under piece to it that's like, it's a joke. And like the reality is I love this shit. Like, and I think that's a key piece of it. It's like, yeah, like we're all kind of in the suck together, but let's be optimistic about what we're doing with it,
Yeah, I mean, it's called The Hopeless Show. Optimism and hope. Optimism and hope are really keys to happiness. And I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And do you find that comedy can be like therapy for people? I know you're in therapy right now. And can comedy be a therapy for you and others?
100%. It's one of the parts of what I do that's really, I don't know if it's really fully sat in my heart yet, but I get messages all the time from people that are like, you got me through some of my darkest days, which is crazy to hear. Cause like I'm sitting in my closet right now at my house and, I'm a real person that lives a real life. It's not like I'm in Hollywood, like being, I'm not like fucking Justin Timberlake or something. So it's weird to be just like a regular dude and feel like a regular dude. And then have people message you from all around the world being like, man, you've got me through some really heavy shit. Cause it's like, dude, I'm just a silly goose. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you're goofing.
But it's there, like people, I don't think the volume in which I get those messages would be a fluke. So, I mean, it is something that I should think of more often. But yeah, I think,
Maybe not,
for sure,
though.
dude.
Maybe not.
No,
maybe
I
it's
don't
better
mean
to not think about it because your authenticity is what helps people. And if you're thinking, I'm going to be therapist dad.
Oh my God,
it's going to be so cringe.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't make any kind of like heartfelt videos is because it's like, dude, I'm not going to record this and edit it to be like, you can get through the day. It's like, go fuck yourself, dude.
Literally to you. And so last thing, and then we're going to do a little Hope in 60, which I think you'll have a lot of fun with. Why do you think, particularly millennials, which I think we both can relate to, why are millennials so exhausted? And how do you feel you've come out of that? Because it sounds like you were more exhausted than you are now because you're doing what you love.
Yeah, dude, I think, I don't know. I mean, millennials as a huge segment, I guess I only have like my own personal experiences, which is like, No,
you got to solve all millennials right now.
Yeah, all millennial stuff. I think, my parents were baby boomers. And I think, just generational differences, dude. Like we were raised by a group of parents that really didn't experience any like societal hardships, like the economy was fucking amazing. Everything was my parents bought a fucking huge house in Lynn, Massachusetts in 1997 for like $80,000, dude.
Yeah, we can't even fill up our gas with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like millennials, we've gone through, we had September 11th. We had the global financial crisis. We've had now multiple health crises occur. Like it's just been one thing after another. Everything is unaffordable. We have the oldest fucking presidents in the world leading our country year after year after year. And it's like, it feels like we're in a fucking reality show, dude.
We have a lot of reality show people running the country.
Yeah. It's fucking insane. So it's almost like, we're in this position where it's like either laugh or just kill ourselves, I think is kind of where we're at as millennials.
Hey, and I'll take the former.
Yeah.
For now, yeah. Well, let's do a little Hope in 60, because in 60 seconds ish, I'll do an invisible timer. In 60 seconds, I'm gonna give you something, and we're gonna find some hope.
Okay.
I feel hopeless about. So
something you feel hopeless about?
Personally, yeah. This is all about me.
Okay.
And probably our audience feels the same because they're just bizarre things. So I'll start with a simple one. in a few weeks, the White House is having a UFC fight on the president's birthday to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the country. They're building a huge thing. It costs taxpayer money to have security and all that stuff there. This makes me feel incredibly hopeless. This is just feels outright stupid. So, what do you think?
I agree. Kill ourselves. Dude, I live in Texas, brother. This is like, I saw a billboard yesterday that said, world champion since 1776. And I was like, oh my God, this is the fucking world we live in right now.
No way.
Yeah. All right. I have to find hope in you know what? Here's some hope. Okay.
All right.
Those UFC fighters are going to get paid.
Hey, everyone needs a buck.
Everyone needs a buck. No, I think it's a joke, dude. I don't know if there's any hope that I have about that. I've been thinking about that for a long time, ever since I was like, surely that's a joke. There's no way that we're going to put a UFC octagon in the front lawn of the White House. You can't even see the White House, bitch. You can't even go look at the White House right now, and they're going to put a UFC fight in the front lawn of it. And it's just so fucking funny.
And even if you look at the White House, you're only going to see 2/3 of a White House right now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I think the ultimate good news, and this is beyond even the UFC fight, is like, I think just as a society and a world, we only got like maybe 5 years left, and then it's all over. So let's just kind of run it out.
Yeah. So whatever. At least they have 5 years of money, the UFC fighters.
Yeah. That's pretty much the way I'm looking at my life too. It's like, you know what? I really only need a good life for a handful of years, and I'm sure someone's going to drop a nuke at some point.
That's hopeful. All right. We found it for everybody. So another one, there's a governor race in California.
I have to find hope. This is the worst shit you're giving me to find hope in.
That's the goal. You're here as a professional hope giver.
Oh my God.
So what they've started talking about, there's never been a governor that has facial hair. This is coming from two people who have beards on. So we didn't have hope as to be governors, but now we have hope because there's two guys running. Right now I'm forgetting their names. That
one of them I believe is Spencer Pratt.
Oh no, that's for mayor.
That's LA mayor. Never mind.
Right, that's mayor. This is for governor. And they have facial hair. So right now they're comparing who people might vote for more because of their facial hair, which really, that's where we're at, is we're voting based on facial hair.
Dude, I wish I could elect a governor with a hot or not platform. Dude, it's only a matter of time before we swipe right for the next president,
That would be, we should do that. Like, can you imagine
if like you go on like Grindr for a gay date, and it's like before you match you have to vote. It's like that, it makes you vote before you can fuck someone.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you put both of us on Grindr. Thank you.
I figure. I honestly, I don't know any of the straight ones. Grindr is just obviously that's the one I always hear about. It's been a long time since I've been out of the dating game.
Yeah, so you didn't get to swipe. So maybe you'll finally get to swipe.
Swiped.
You'll get to finally swipe for the election.
Yeah, my online dating history was back when OkCupid was a thing. I don't even know if that exists anymore.
I have no clue.
I met some of the craziest women I've ever met in my entire life on OkCupid.
Is there a specific story you can share that your wife won't get mad about?
I think I was like, oh man, how old was I? I was like probably 21, 22 years old. And I met this girl and we went on a date. I was poor. I had no money. I don't even think I had a job, but I had a gold necklace that I'd had since I was like 12. And I went and pawned it off so I could take her on a date.
So what did you have more fun with, the gold necklace or the date?
The date, I don't regret selling the gold necklace. The date was fine. She ended up being a fucking psychopath, though.
And see, the date didn't talk. I mean, the gold necklace didn't talk back to you.
No. Yeah, maybe I should have kept the gold necklace, but it was all those terrible decisions created the Deric I am today.
Excuse me. There you go. That's
hope.
That's hope. And the last one, because I had trouble with this morning. I can never find my passwords for anything. So I'll go on like SeatGeek because I want to buy a ticket to something. And I'm like, oh, I have my password. I wrote it down somewhere. I search for it. I find it. It's the wrong password. I feel like I'm not alone, but how in the world do I find hope that I can never get into anything? It takes me 20 minutes to figure out how to get into something. They reset the password. I can't do it, and I feel like I'm not the only one.
And I have to find hope in this.
Yeah.
The hope.
Or
that
tell
I
me
find
what the
in
hell
this,
to do.
I think the hope in this is that I'm sure sometimes you get so frustrated you don't even buy the ticket, and now you're saving money.
Boom. That's all I
Boom.
needed. So all the things that I don't end up going to, it's like, well, this is one last thing. I like the idea that modern convenience is actually making everything less convenient.
Yeah, we have a lot of convenience in our lives. There's a part of me that wants to just run away and live in the woods.
And
I have two phones because this one gets a lot of spam calls on it, and I was sick of it, so I got a new phone. But I'm so afraid that I'm gonna forget a password to an important website, and they're gonna have this phone number, and I'm gonna cancel it. That I've kept the phone number. I've had this phone for, I think I've had two phones now for like 2 years because I'm just so terrified of like a bank being like, oh, you don't have your old phone, you can't have your money.
well, I'll give you hope with that. That, a lot of athletes do it because they've got their burner for their other chicks, and then they've got the one, like the family one. You just were honest. You came out and said, look, the burner is just for spam. It's not for anyone you like or want to talk to.
Yeah, dude, I like this hope thing. I have one other thing that I could use some hope on. I have this like spot on my penis. If you could look.
Just if you're just listening to this, just so you know, Deric didn't quite show me his spot.
I did not Louis C.K. Mr. Wolf.
No, and that's where I feel hope, is that you didn't actually do it. I didn't actually have to forever be ingrained. Like when we hang again, I don't have to think, well, I saw his dick.
How many times would you need to accidentally see my penis before you were like, are you doing this on purpose?
6.
Like if you 6 times?
Yeah, because I try to block it. You compartmentalize. And I think I at least have 5 dick compartments that I could put.
That's a lot of dick compartments to have in a brain.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you did bring up Grindr, and I've never been on that either. I'm not gay, but
Hey,
I guess maybe
okay. It's okay.
exactly. Maybe I just admitted something with my 5 dick compartments that I could put your dick in before the one.
This has been a gay psyop for your audience.
It is. Yeah, thank you. That's what they were hoping for. Well, man, this has been fun. Unless there's one other hope thing you have. Let's see. Is there anything else you need hope for?
I hope that I don't get any more mice in my attic. That's yeah. We live in. I think all houses get some mice in them, but a couple of years ago, I caught a mouse and I tried to release it into the woods down the street from my house, and then someone told me that if you don't release a mouse like over 3 miles away, it just comes back home. And it's like, comes back where, brother? Like home? So I have a bunch of like murder traps set up there right now, and I have companies coming up to like seal up my attic. So let's just hope that those mice leave, because I really don't want to have to kill mice, but I will if I have to.
What if you just got the game? Remember the game we had, Mousetrap?
Yeah.
And it was just a fun game. Maybe you would put it up there and they'd be like, yeah, all right, this is fun. And then maybe after a while they'd get bored and leave.
Dude, that could be cool. I could just bore them to death.
With a bunch of mousetraps that are just
and then
a game.
Fucking shoot them because we're in Texas.
Exactly. The Texas way. And I gotta give you the promotion. You said you don't do anything for promotion, but you got to promote your shows coming up because you're doing a lot, and not just your shows. What are you excited about going forward? Because you're constantly doing new things. I don't know what you do or don't want to talk about, but just some things you're excited about, shows and other.
Well, I should be excited about more things right off the top of my head. Yeah, no, it is, I get the tour coming up that I just released on Instagram. I post a little picture of it because I do promote the tour occasionally from time to time. Let people know I'm going to be on tour. Yeah, no, I'm just fucking happy to be here. I think that's the coolest part. Like there, who knows what's going to happen? I hired a management company like a year ago, and I battle myself with that every single day in the sense of like, do I need a fucking manager? Who the fuck do you think you are needing a manager? But the way I look at that is like, you just asked me the question, Deric, what are you excited about? And I can barely answer you. That's why I have a manager. So someone at some point in my life is working for my career because it's just not me. So, yeah, dude, no, it's so cool, man, that I get to be here and I get to make dumb fucking videos for the internet. I get to go city to city across the country telling jokes. And with those things, I make more than enough money to provide for my family. So as long as I can live in this little world, it's a good day. Working on a TV show that will maybe turn into something, maybe won't.
Hell yeah, it will.
I'm just fucking, dude, I'm breathing and I'm making people laugh. So I'm excited for that.
And then there's one cool thing that we have is that I do believe the industry is constantly changing and evolving, maybe away from some of those stereotypes or supposed tos that the industry has had for so long, which I think is cool. I think there's a lot more chance for people like yourself and myself to keep creating and not necessarily need to be accepted by the gatekeepers in the system.
Yeah, dude, I think that's actually one of the coolest things that I've experienced the last, year or so, or maybe even a little bit longer, is like, I am the value, right? Like my hat is not out to everybody. So like, I'm not begging for anything, which is a really cool position to be in. Like I've gotten a bunch of reach outs from production companies trying to make like a fuck this house TV show. And it's like, dude, I don't need HGTV. They need me. Like they need me, brother. And I think that's one of the coolest things to just take some ownership of is like, no, dude, like I've built a really strong audience and, obviously there's different levels of that audience. I have some that are like probably very invested, big fans. And then you get people that found me yesterday that I'm still just, that funny video I saw. But I hope that across that whole level, they trust me, because one of the things that is really important to me, dude, is I don't sell them shit just so I make a buck. That's not how I look at this audience. Like, I can't even tell you the last time I did a paid ad on my thing. Not that they haven't reached out to me. I had a bottle of water company hit me up, offered me $25,000 to promote a bottle of water, like a flavored bottle of water. And it had ingredients that I would never drink or give to my family. And I was like, I'm good. I'm not going to do that for you guys.
That's you, man. That's you. That's you saying I'm authentic.
Yeah, but no one ever knew. I mean, I guess they know now because I told you, but it's not like I tell people that. Like, that's just, I hope that just comes through with the way that I make my shit is like, this is just like, I'm not in this trying to make a fucking a quick buck and disappear and fuck you guys. I think you see that a lot on social media. You get to this point and then it's like, you almost get to this following and it's like, oh, I'm a celebrity now. Look at my fucking makeup and look at my shoes. And it's like, bitch, like I didn't subscribe to the ads of YouTube when I first found you. And I'm not dogging on people that do ads. Like, I get it. Go make your living. I'm just very happy that the way I make my living, I was able to kind of circumvent that piece of social media because it just doesn't feel good to do that.
It's not you. You, the person, it's.
And who's going to buy shit from me anyways, brother? Like, hey, here's my fucking chapstick. Go.
Yeah. They might buy a knee brace if they're worried about banging into their bed.
Yeah, or like a branded hammer maybe. But like even merch, dude, I don't fuck with merch either. But yeah, dude, it's just a cool place to be. I feel like the people that I have and what I have and what I give to them is like just the place where we can just kind of talk shit and laugh. And if you come to my shows, that's fucking rad. And if you don't come to my shows, cool. Enjoy me on the internet because I get paid there too.
Well, you just said a thing about branded content, and right now you're wearing a hat that makes me hopeless. So there's one more hopeless thing. You're wearing a Traeger hat, like the barbecue, and I bought a bunch of stock in this a few years ago. Not too much money, but a bit. And my buddy was barbecuing with a Traeger, and I thought, you're barbecuing so well. This is so delicious. This is going to be a great stock. I have $26 left from my initial investment. So, and right now you're hawking it without hawking it because it's on your head. So give me some hope.
Yeah, no, there's no hope for you on that one. I don't think there's a scenario on planet Earth that I would invest money into a consumer goods company.
So what you're saying is I'm a moron for doing it.
Yeah, you really fucked up with that Traeger buy, but they do love me. They sent me a free smoker and I gave a free one away because I didn't want to just like take something. And then they just send me like periodic love gifts. Like they just sent me this hat randomly and I love it. So I wear it.
You know how they do? Because people like me lost money in them. So then they could up the stock.
Actually,
times
dude,
50.
you kind of paid for this hat.
I did. You're welcome. Well, man. Oh, I had I keep doing one last thing, and this really is the last thing. I know yesterday you were at a ball game.
Yes, I was.
Who's your team, and what do you think is going to happen this season? Like, how do you think they're going to do?
Okay, so multi-part answer. My heart team is the Boston Red Sox because I'm from Boston. My hometown team here, I live in Dallas, so we get the Texas Rangers. That's like a 25-minute drive to the stadium. I am not a big sports dude, like, in the sense of like, oh, it's my fucking team, bro. Like I couldn't tell you the name of a person on the Boston Red Sox right now. I'm just I go to the games. I'm like, I just hope they both have fun, you know? So, but it is cool. I love watching live sports. I love watching football. I love watching baseball, but I'm not one of the, I don't do fantasy football. And I won't talk shit to someone for being a fan of the Yankees.
Even though in your heart, you still feel it.
Oh, in my heart, the Yankees fucking suck. Like, it's like suck my balls. But in real life, if you're a Yankees fan, it's like, oh, what's up, dude? But yeah. I just know, like, you have your sports team blows in my heart of hearts for sure. Yes.
Yeah, your internal voice is what's true.
Yeah, but that's also like I was born with it. It's like being born, Catholic. You have it, and
in Boston, I think it's Red Sox, then Catholic.
And then alcoholism and abuse.
Well, with that, Deric, this has been an absolute blast. Is there anything else you want to shamelessly plug besides the Traeger hat that's been looking at me all day?
So if I'm going to send this video to Traeger and be like, send me a fucking check next time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you did it.
No, dude, all good, dude. It's been a blast. Thanks for inviting me on. I hope everyone loves me. But if they don't, they can go fuck themselves.
Amen. Deric was awesome. That was so cool. He's so funny. And if you enjoyed that, we've got more guests like him and all different kinds on this show. We got musicians, athletes, thought leaders, comics, obviously. So follow along The Hopeless Show. Go like and subscribe and all that stuff because you're the ones who make this show. So please do. And I'm the Aaron Wolf on social media. Deric, you can check out on all his channels. And can't wait till next episode. We have a bunch of cool guests coming on, and we're just trying to bring hope. So let's do it.
When the world seems cold and bleak and you just can't take it anymore, here it comes, that glimmer of hope. A light shines through the door. It's the Hopeless Show with Aaron and Rohit World.